Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. We are going to be covering a lot in this video, guys. We've got a lot to get through. We're going to be looking at the charts, of course. We're going to be looking at the Cardano chart. We're going to be looking at the Bitcoin chart. As we know, the overall market is still very much tethered to Bitcoin. We're going to be going over, and you guys will remember not that long ago, we spoke about a new deal within Africa. That John O'Connor essentially had leaked. Today I wrote a letter to the president, found 1 million users to bring onto Cardano, and had a damn good cup of coffee. It's only midday, looking forward to the afternoon. We're going to listen to him speak about this deal, because what this is not only going to do is hopefully fill you with a bit of excitement that there are now another 1 million users on the Cardano network. This is going to increase the demand. We know we have smart contracts coming around the corner, which is going to amplify the demand exponentially due to the fact that people are going to be building on top of Cardano, and their dApps are going to, in a lot of cases, utilize the native token ADA to help run those apps, to help run whatever DeFi protocols it is they're using. Same way that if you want to use Uniswap, you have to use gas, which is Ethereum essentially. But this is, this should hopefully, really help you to understand what's going on here. They are literally trying to build infrastructures. Charles had referred to Cardano as a FOSS, a financial operating system. That is exactly what they're trying to build in certain countries within Africa. Certainly Sub-Saharan Africa is where they're mainly focused. And John O'Connor doesn't get enough credit for his work because he is really at the forefront of bringing on the mass adoption that I and many of the Cardano holders out there believe is going to take place on this network. So let us get started, guys. Of course, we're going to look at some of the partnerships that were mentioned in the Cardano 360 event. I'm going to be talking to you about the fact that around about 73,000 Ethereum went missing, and this is largely due to how they operate their proof of stake. This is going to bring some positive media to Cardano, I believe. So we've got lots to get through, guys. Let's start with the Cardano chart. Now, we know the market is selling off, or certainly showing weakness. Selling off isn't the right sort of terminology to use. You are downtrending for Cardano. Going into the weekend, you could see a little bit more downside. But ultimately, guys, I do stand by my conviction that this is going to really be the local bottom for Bitcoin. I think this looks rather like a bottoming out structure. And ultimately, one day we are going to have a pop above our descending resistance, above this EMA, and we're going to stay above it. I want to point something out that's very, very revealing, I believe, in the Cardano chart, guys. And is one reason I think a huge move is coming for Cardano, like the title says, or certainly like the thumbnail says. Because ultimately, you guys know that we follow something and we largely subscribe to the Elliott wave theory. Elliott wave theory dictates that you have a 5 waves to the upside. 2 of those are pullback waves. 3 of those are kind of impulsive moves, followed by an ABC correction. Now, we believe that that's your 1 wave, that's your 2 wave, and this is very roughly drawn. This is and you're currently going through your 4th wave, which is going to lead you into your 5th wave. And one thing that we said when we were up here, guys, was you are very overextended from your EMA on the weekly, the 20 EMA on the weekly. And this is always usually led, you will reacquaint with it at some point. And this is the very catalyst that is going to send you onto that 5th wave, and this entire market is going to continue going in the right direction. This has to be correlated with Bitcoin, of course. As we know, Bitcoin is the driver of value in the space. And there are a number of reasons I'm bullish on Bitcoin and do think this is the bottom, such as things like the RSI. There are a lot of on-chain data sort of indicators that we've gone over. The RSI here, guys, you can see every time you get below this 30 mark, and the last time we did was March 2020, it's usually a bottoming sort of signal. And you can see that's kind of been the case so far. I also, Glassnode also publish a lot of things definitely worth looking at that kind of suggest that Bitcoin's bottomed. But do just bear in mind, guys, that we are going into a weekend, which we know are a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. They usually tend to sell off. And the market is already showing weakness. So this traditionally isn't a very bullish sign, but I don't think, I think that ultimately you're probably going to consolidate here for a bit. Hopefully hold this support, hold some of these fib levels that we have coming in here before then continuing on in this bull run and getting, well over 100K for Bitcoin and so on and so forth into that sort of $7.50 ADA price with relative pullbacks. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is the fact that, and we're going to listen to John O'Connor talk about this because he's really sums it up perfectly. What exactly is going on in Africa and certainly the country that he's on about within Africa. So we'll play the clip and then we'll review it, guys. So we know there's another million users that are going to be onboarded. This is just one deal of many to come, guys. So let's play the clip and then let's review it.
So you mentioned something recently on Twitter, and I don't know if you could talk about this any further, but if you could shed any more light onto the tweet that you'd sent saying that there was you had some great coffee and closed a 1 million or you're working on a 1 million user deal. What is there any more light you could shed on what that is and what it's for?
I can't give specifics. I think it's a bad idea to put more pressure on myself than I have to. So until contracts are signed, I don't think it's necessary. What I will say though is that with smart contracts finally coming out, I'm very, very, very interested in making sure we're building the right tooling for applications around remittances and applications around open finance. So these are sort of microloans and uncollateralized loans. So a lot of the work I'm doing is trying to make sure that we're building the right products so that, you know, a year down the line, you may not even realize it, but Cardano could be the back end financial rails for these huge businesses, and you know the customer won't even know. So that's sort of for me what I'm pushing towards, and a lot of my deal flow is around trying to make sure that we understand these sectors and these industries by working with top tier marquee partners who we can do a pilot with, learn the ropes, learn what's missing from the Cardano solution at the moment, and then bake it in so that we're ready to hit that big distribution and exponential scale that happens if you really hit product market fit.
Okay.
Very revealing, guys. You know, they are, whereas we know the Ethiopia deal, and, you know, we have a sort of partnerships with some of the Tanzanian government. We know the Ethiopia deal was largely focused on education and giving people a identity that they can not only use within the educational sector, but sort of elsewhere. He's talking about more financial tools that he's going to be implementing, and with smart contracts, he mentioned, you know, these things are going to be accessible. He mentioned things like DeFi, loans, stuff like that. Very, very exciting, guys. I mean, I'm adamant that the supply for Cardano is going to absolutely explode because people, like I say, are going to be building on top of it. It's going to become a used blockchain. You know, the same way that when you use Ethereum, if I want to provide liquidity, if I want to make a swap on something like Uniswap, if I want to interact with a protocol, maybe Aave or something, usually there is a cost associated with it, and that is in the terms of gas, which is an Ethereum. You know, you need Ethereum to make that happen. So big things are coming, guys. I think if you correlate that with the fact that, you know, like I say, on this weekly time frame, this kind of testing here of this EMA is exactly what springs you up. And Cardano typically, you know, if you look at Bitcoin, let's do it quickly, guys, just to show you what I'm talking about here. If you look at Bitcoin on a logarithmic, I always leave the draw tool on. It's so annoying. If you look at Bitcoin on a logarithmic and you kind of map out its kind of wave structure, you know, that's your one wave, or at least we think it is. That's your two wave. This is your three wave. This is your fourth wave before then continue your fifth. Your pullback waves usually take you under your EMAs. Cardano doesn't traditionally do that, or it goes slightly under them. So we do honestly think the bottom is probably in for Bitcoin, and if it does go lower, it's going to be marginal. You know, we don't think we're going to. Lots of calls for people saying we're going to get to 20k Bitcoin. Lots of people saying that we're actually going to come back, mainly because of Fibonacci levels, and we're going to retest this kind of previous all-time high. I can't see that, guys. That would be a bad scenario. If that was the case, you best believe I would be accumulating, but I really can't see that at all. I think that this is your bottom for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to recover however it chooses to, whether it chooses to consolidate for a bit and recover, or whether we just have a pop out like we traditionally do, like you kind of saw here. We will see, and the whole market is going to follow that. And then when you kind of compound the fact that something like Cardano's demand is going to exponentially increase, the partnerships, Orion, however you want to say it, protocol, these guys are essentially working to bring the kind of traditional financial world into the blockchain. You know, World Mobile is another partnership that Cardano have. These guys are huge. They're essentially stating that there's nearly 4 billion people who are unconnected worldwide. This is what blockchain technology is. It's like the World Economic Forum talking about blockchain. It is going to be able to onboard the people that aren't on board into the kind of financial world that we live in. You know, it's going to become more of a global, that the blockchain is going to help globalization in many ways and kind of onboard people. We spoke about the fact that there was, I think, $7 trillion in Africa of untapped wealth, essentially, and this is untapped in the sense that it's there's no ports for it. You know, it's just traded between each other, which I don't think is a traditionally bad thing, but it has a lot of limiting factors, like, you know, you can't. Anyway, we're getting way off topic, guys. So that is really the majority of what I wanted to speak to you about. The 360 event, spoke an awful lot about NFTs. Spoke about Catalyst, spoke about a lot of governance, spoke about a lot of things, introduced some new members of the Cardano 360 team. Is it me, or was that Orion protocol brief on Cardano 360 just totally something awesome? Wowzers. Okay, so lots going on, guys. In regards to the ALONZO rollout plan, things are looking like they're going as normal. We are moving through the ALONZO stages. That is inevitably going to lead to the mainnet, where we are going to see smart contracts and developers to actually be able to build dApps publicly on the Cardano network. Lots going on, and that's the reason I keep stressing all this to you guys, is because the price right now doesn't reflect Cardano. The same way that the prices of the stocks that we looked at yesterday, such as Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, they were just a victim in the dot-com boom of the overall market, which sold off when we had that crash. Similar thing today, guys. Cryptos are very comparable to that market, or very comparable to some of the stocks that are involved in this sort of the internet boom. Cryptos are obviously part of the blockchain boom, and there's a lot of similarities there. So that is all I have for you in this video. Just watch out for this weekend. We are going to keep you updated, but you know the bottom line is, guys, you're already sort of selling off going into a weekend. I'm not seeing much strength, to be honest with you, in regards to Bitcoin. In fact, I'm really not seeing it at all, really. So we are we're watching that. We're not worried, because my belief in blockchain technology is stronger than it's ever been. But the short-term price action and going down, guys, is actually perfectly fine. For me, it's just a buying opportunity. You guys know that I always place buy orders below where I'm dollar cost averaging in, just in case it gets down there. And sometimes you'll get filled, sometimes you won't. If you do, happy days. If you don't, hey ho. So that's all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Big things are coming. Just remember that. Hold on. Please don't get shaken out of this market. You know, if you are panicking, just walk away. Come back to your portfolio in a month's time, you know, a couple of weeks. If it's too much for you, that is because hodlers have essentially proved in crypto that as long as you're investing in something with real fundamentals, all you have to do is hodl it, and time will balance out your portfolio. So that is all I have for you in this video, guys. Just a short and sweet update. We thought we'd better comment on the 360 event. We watched the 2.5 hours of it. It was a very long one, lots to cover, lots focusing on NFTs, which I'm not overly... NFTs in terms of buying collectibles and stuff like that doesn't really do it for me. I've made a video on them and I said, you know, this is a way for irrelevant celebrities to try and perhaps become relevant. We saw that a lot. But there are other use cases for NFT which are very interesting, like perhaps what's going on here with Orion Protocol. So that is all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. The Ethereum... I'll quickly touch on this. Lots of Ethereum went missing. And this was because in order to stake Ethereum, a third party essentially has to get involved. This really shows perhaps that Cardano's proof of stake method is, and Algorand used the same one essentially, is very sturdy and perhaps better than, and they are different systems, even though they're both proof of stake. They have different kind of consensus mechanisms. But this is really going to, you know, this is bullish for Cardano, believe it or not. We're still bullish on Ethereum. We still think Ethereum's going to do great things. Some of the greatest minds in the world are working on Ethereum. But there's so much coming on. We've not even spoke about stable coins and et cetera, coming to Cardano. I don't want to, you know, keep you on here forever and a day, guys. So I'm going to love and leave you on that note. If you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. And get subscribed, guys, because we make daily videos where we keep you up to date. So if that sounds good, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and I will see you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I will see you in the next one.